Welcome back to the Habit of Showing Up, the space where we talk about healing in ordinary moments, building resilience, and learning how to show up for our lives, one decision at a time. Today, I want to talk about soaring, not because everything is perfect, not because you finally reach some place where life is easy and nothing scares you, but because I think there are times in our lives when we have to recognize that we've been building our wings all along. You may not feel like you're soaring. Maybe, to you, it has felt more like surviving. Maybe it's felt like waking up every morning and handling whatever was in front of you. Maybe it has looked like making decisions you never thought you would have to make, starting over, changing directions, caring for someone you love, taking care of yourself in ways you're still learning. Maybe you don't look at any of that and see flight, but I want you to consider something today. What if every moment you choose to keep going strengthened your wings? What if every time you choose yourself, your wings lifted you a little higher? What if the life you have been living has been teaching you how to fly? I recently returned home from visiting my mother in Chicago. My mother is 87 years old and she's still moving right along. She needed to have a biopsy, and when I knew she was going to have the procedure, I knew where I wanted to be. I wanted to be with my mom. So I went. I flew to Chicago. I went with her to her appointment. I stayed with her. I cared for her for 2 days. Then I got back on the plane and came home to my own family and my own responsibilities. Now we wait for the results. I could spend this moment worrying about what the results might say. I could allow my mind to travel ahead of me. I could start trying to solve problems that may never exist. But right now, in this moment, there is nothing else for me to do. For this moment, the goal was accomplished. My mother needed me. I wanted to be there, and I showed up. That's enough for today. When the next moment comes, we'll meet that moment too. And as I thought about that trip, I realized that this is what so much of life looks like. We spend a lot of time worrying about whether we'll be able to handle something that hasn't happened yet. Will I be strong enough? Will I know what to do? What if life changes? What if the thing I'm afraid of actually happens? But then life calls us into a moment and somehow we meet it. We get on the plane. We walk into the appointment. We sit in the waiting room. We make the phone call. We fill out the paperwork. We start the business. We leave the relationship. We begin again. We ask for help. We finally rest. We take one step and then another. Maybe that's what soaring really looks like. Maybe soaring isn't always being high above the clouds where nothing can reach you. Maybe soaring is knowing when to rise, knowing when to rest, knowing when to trust the wings you've been building. I think sometimes we wait for confidence before we move. We think one day we're going to wake up and feel completely ready, completely certain, completely fearless. But life hasn't worked that way for me. Most of the time, I have discovered my strength after I needed it. I look back and I thought, I did that? I made it through that? I figured that out? I don't have the entire plan, but I had enough for the next step. And maybe you've done the same thing. Think about something you were once afraid you couldn't handle, something that felt too big at the time. You're here. You may have some scars from it. You may still be healing from parts of it. You may not have handled every moment perfectly, but you're here. And I wonder how many times you've been soaring without giving yourself credit for leaving the ground. We tend to celebrate the big moments, the promotions, the graduations, the finished projects, the big announcements, the breakthrough. But some of our strongest moments will never receive applause. No one sees the morning you get out of bed when your heart is heavy. No one sees you choosing a healthier response instead of an old reaction. No one sees the boundaries you finally set. No one sees you sitting quietly deciding that you're going to try again. No one sees the caregiver in the middle of the night, the parent wondering if they're doing enough, the person rebuilding a life that looks nothing like the one they planned, the person learning to care for a body that needs something different now. But those moments count. Those moments are building something. Those moments are your wings. And I want to say something to the person who feels like it's too late to take flight. It's not. You don't have to wait for a new year, a new house, a new job, more money, more time, or a perfect version of yourself. You can take flight right where you are. Maybe your first flight is small. Maybe it's making the appointment you've been putting off. Maybe it's taking a class. Maybe it's going for a walk. Maybe it's telling someone what you need. Maybe it's sitting in your garden with no music, no noise, no guilt, and giving yourself permission to enjoy your own life. Maybe it's getting on a plane to sit beside your 87-year-old mother because that's where your heart tells you to be. Taking flight doesn't have to look impressive to anyone else. It only has to be true for you. Every time you choose what supports your growth, your peace, your health, your purpose, or the life you're trying to build, you are learning to trust your wings. And I think that's where I am right now. I'm learning to trust mine, not because I know what's coming next. I don't. My family is waiting for results. There are still things in my own life that I'm working through. There are dreams I'm still building, questions I don't have answers to. But I don't need tomorrow's answers to live today. Today, I can be here. Today, I can show up. Today, I can rest when I need to rest and move when it's time to move. And when the next moment comes, I'll meet it then. That's the freedom I want to carry forward. Not the promise that life will always go the way I want, but the trust that I can meet my life one moment at a time. And so can you. You may not know it yet, but you've been soaring all along. Every moment you choose yourself, every time you listen to that quiet voice telling you to keep going, every time you change directions because you knew something wasn't right for you anymore, every time you rested, then got back up, every time you showed up for someone you love, every time you showed up for yourself, your wings were getting stronger. So maybe today isn't about becoming someone completely new. Maybe today is about recognizing who you've already become. You have survived some things. You have learned some things. You have grown in ways you probably haven't stopped long enough to notice. And maybe it's time. Time to stop looking down and wondering whether you're capable. Time to stop waiting for someone else to tell you that you're ready. Time to trust what this journey has already built in you. Take flight from right where you are, not because you're fearless, not because you know exactly where you'll land, but because your wings are stronger than you think. And for now, in this moment, show up for what is in front of you. The next moment will come. And when it does, you'll show up for that one too. Thank you for being here. And as always, the habit of showing up is built in moments like this, when you choose to trust yourself, Honor where you are and take the next step, even when you can't see the entire path. Take a moment, sit with what resonated, and carry it with you in a way that supports your life this week. And if this spoke to you, share it with someone who may need the reminder that they don't have to wait for the perfect moment to take flight. Maybe they've been soaring all along too.